Most gods of mythology require celestial permission to kill. A lightning bolt must be summoned from the heavens. A storm must be brewed in the clouds. A divine decree must be issued from a golden throne. But there is one God who asked for no permission. A God who does not wait for storms. A God whose power is not dependent on the sky. He is primal. He is inevitable. He is the reason your species stopped fighting with wood and bone and started fighting with civilization. Most cultures call him the god of war. The Yoruba call him Ogun. But before you call his name, understand this: Ogun is not just the god of war. He is the god who waits in the very metal you hold in your hand. And in African mythology, there is no god more necessary and no god more deadly. To understand Ogun, you must understand the substance he owns: iron. According to Yoruba tradition, Ogun is the Orisha, the divine spirit, who presides over metalwork, tools, technology, transportation, hunting, and war. He is the pathmaker of the universe. Where Shango commands the explosive, unpredictable fire of lightning, Ogun commands the disciplined and enduring fire of the forge. He is the master of dynamic creativity, the energy that builds cities, bridges, roads, and clears the wilderness. The iron that flows through the heart of the modern world belongs to him. The iron torque around an ancient king's neck. Ogun. The machete a farmer uses to clear the dense bush. Ogun. The surgical knife that saves a child's life. Ogun. But this creativity carries a terrifying duality. Ogun gave humanity the tools to build civilization, but he also gave them the weapons to destroy it. The very edge that clears the path is the same edge that can cut it down. He is the patron of the blacksmith, the farmer, the sculptor, and the modern mechanic. And he is the patron of the soldier. Ogun embodies a relentless work ethic and dynamic force. He is the god who is always working, always moving, always clearing the road. He does not stop until the task is complete. But when that tireless force turns its focus from construction to destruction, there is no power in the Yoruba pantheon that can stand in his way. We see this primal necessity in the most famous myth of the Yoruba Orishas. In the beginning, when the gods were descending from Ogun, the spiritual heavens to tame earth, it was wild. Dense forests stretched in every direction. No roads. No cities. No cleared land for human life to take root. The earth was raw material, nothing more. Their path was blocked. The Orishas gathered at the threshold between heaven and earth and faced a problem. The path from the heavens to the earth, known as the transition, was treacherous. A massive thicket of chaotic, impenetrable vegetation stood between the worlds. A forest of thorns and shadows that defied divine intervention. Each god tried to pass. The mighty warrior Orisha struck at the thicket with their clubs of wood and stone. They summoned fire from the sky. They pushed with divine strength. Nothing worked. The thicket was too dense, too resilient, too old. The gods were stranded, blocked from the world they intended to populate. Aye, the earth was unreachable. Then the quiet master of the forge stepped forward. He did not pray. He did not summon a storm. He reached for something the other gods had never seen. Something he had forged in the molten core of the spiritual realm. The first machete of iron. The other Orishas looked at the dark metal with skepticism. How could this cold substance succeed where divine force had failed? Then Ogun struck. His titanic muscles flexed, and the iron blade sang through the air. The impenetrable vegetation fell away in sheets. The thorns surrendered. The shadows broke. With precise, brutal efficiency, Ogun cut a road through the chaos. He made the earth accessible. When he finished, the path was clear. The other gods were amazed, offering him the title of King of Kings for his deed. Ogun, however, was not interested in thrones. He was not interested in being worshipped. He left the gods to celebrate and returned to the wilderness, solitary, silent, and watchful. This is why one of his most sacred titles is Oshin Imole, the first of the primordial Orishas to come to earth. He did not descend because he was commanded to. He descended because the path needed clearing and he was the only one who could clear it. That is Ogun. Not a god of glory, a god of work. But the deadliest title is not one he earned on the battlefield. It was earned through tragedy. There is a myth that centers on his favorite human city, Ire-Ekiti. According to tradition, Ogun had lived among the humans there, protecting them, teaching them the secrets of the forge, and leading them to victory against their enemies. When he left to return to the spirit realm, the people of Ire worshipped him as a living ancestor. Years passed. One day, Ogun decided to return to visit his city. He was a lonely god, seeking the familiar warmth of his people. He was still caked in the dust of the forge and wrapped in his heavy chains, but his face was set in the grim expression of anticipation. He walked out of the wilderness toward the city gates, expecting to be welcomed with a celebratory feast. Instead, when he entered Ire-Ekiti, the city was silent. No drums played. No vendors shouted. No children ran to greet him. The people moved through the streets like ghosts, but when they saw the Pathmaker approaching, they turned away from him. They did not speak his name. They did not bow. They did not acknowledge his presence. Ogun stood at the center of the market square, his spectral green eyes burning with confusion. This was his city. These were his children. And they treated him as a pariah. He called out to them, but they continued their walk, looking only at the ground. Ogun's confusion curdled into offense. Offense turned to rage. He believed the city had betrayed him. He believed they had forgotten their protector, their king, their god. He thought they deemed themselves superior to the dirty blacksmith god. He suspected a specific rival had turned them against him. In some versions of the myth, Ogun had partaken heavily of palm wine, which only fueled his volatile nature. The work ethic of construction became the focus of destruction. Ogun reached for his massive iron machete. In that silence, the rage of the forge was unleashed. It was not a war, it was a harvest. Ogun began striking down his own people. Men, women, elders, children, the very people he had taught to survive, were cut down by the blade he had forged. The streets of Ire ran red with the blood of its own citizens. The silence was broken, not by celebration, but by agony. He demolished the market square, shattered the homes, and killed until the city was decimated. The rage did not break until only a few survivors remained, huddling in the ruins. Only then did one elder step forward, covered in white chalk and ashes, and kneel before the bloody god. Ogun raised his blade for the final strike. The elder spoke softly, his voice trembling, "Lord Ogun, why do you kill us on our sacred day of honor?" Ogun stopped, his blade hovering. The primal green rage in his eyes flickered. Sacred day. The elder explained that they were observing a mandatory, 7-day period of sacred silence to honor a great ancestor. By divine law, no one in the city could speak, celebrate, or even acknowledge a stranger during this time. To do so would bring a curse. Their silence had not been an act of disrespect. It had been an act of extreme piety to the gods. An act of profound respect to him who had established these laws. They had not been ignoring him, they were honoring him through total, unyielding obedience to ancient law. Ogun looked around at the devastation he had caused. He looked at the bodies of the children he had held in his arms, cut down by his own hand. The rage evaporated instantly, replaced by a devastating, absolute regret. The God of truth had killed because of a lie born in his own heart. He looked at his massive hand, caked in the blood of those who honored him. Ogun did not speak. He did not ask for forgiveness. He turned from the huddling survivors and walked out of the ruined city gates, returning to the wilderness he never should have left. The regret was too heavy, even for a titan. According to Ire tradition, Ogun took his own machete and plunged it into the earth, collapsing into the metal itself, descending into the spirit realm as the eternal, solitary guardian of truth. Like Shango before him. Like Enansi before him. Ogun crossed the Atlantic in chains. And on the other side he did not shrink. In Haiti, it is said that Ogun planted the idea of revolution in the minds of enslaved people. That before the Haitian Revolution of 1804, the only successful slave revolution in history, it was Ogun who gave the people the courage, the fire, and the iron will to rise. The first free black nation in the Western world was born under the sign of a Yoruba god of war. In Brazil he became Ogun, syncretized with Saint George, the warrior saint. In Cuba, Ogun. In Trinidad and across the Caribbean, Papa Ogun, the iron warrior who never abandoned his people even when the world tried to erase everything they were. Drivers in Nigeria still carry iron amulets of Ogun in their vehicles today. Blacksmiths still honor him at the forge. Warriors still call his name before battle. He sank into the earth at Ire-Ekiti with a promise. He has kept it. The story of Ogun is the story of civilization itself. He is not a monster. He is not evil. In Yoruba culture, Ogun is the guardian of truth and the keeper of oaths. Swearing an oath on iron, or in his name, is the most serious contract a person can make, for Ogun has no patience for games, deception, or lies. He reveals what is truly there. This is what makes him so dangerous. He is the primal force of focus. The energy that gets things done. But he is also the warning that when brute force loses its morality, when the need to clear the path overrides the need for empathy, the result is tragedy. Death, in Yoruba philosophy, is essential to life. And Ogun is the force that handles that transition. He is the guardian of the road. If you are facing an impossible obstacle, you call his name to remove it. But if you are not careful, the Pathmaker might just remove you. We do not remember the Pathmaker because we loved him. We remember him because we must. He did not survive the ages through affection, but through unyielding necessity. He is inevitable. He is the quiet gravity of the steel in your grasp. He is the electric pulse of iron within your very blood. He is the hard, unyielding promise of the road rising to meet your stride. If you look past the noise of this modern world, you will see his signature everywhere. The forge is never truly cold. The road is still being opened. The Pathmaker has never stopped. If your spirit calls you to journey deeper into the ancient shadows, to walk with the gods and the spirits who forged the bedrock of our world, subscribe to the Untold Gods. Until the sacred drums begin to beat once more, hold fast to this truth: the past is not dead, it is only a breath, waiting for the wind to blow it back home.